Hi everyone, it's Faith. I am back from my appointment. I am not gonna apologize for looking like trash right now because I am aware of what I look like on this viewfinder. I feel like it's okay. I'm totally at peace with the trash that I am right now. I had my IUD removed yesterday and it went way better than I expected. Like, I've been having panic attacks for months about this whole process, and I definitely was totally panicked the night before. My appointment was pretty early in the morning, so that was good, got it out of the way. I got to the appointment and, you know, they do my annual first, and that's never fun. Like, it's not fun, let's be real, it's not fun. But it was fine, and I was a little worried that my doctor was gonna kind of scold me for not being in sooner, or like, you know, kind of being like, well, I had all these side effects and you never told me, and like, basically my doctor was super understanding and was even just like, look, if we had known that all of these things were going on, and connected them sooner, you should have had this out a long time ago, because clearly you were really sensitive to it, and going forward, like, let's try not using hormones. Like, she was like, almost like she thought she was gonna have to sell me on not giving me a pill, and I was just like, no thank you. Like, you know, like, that's exactly what I want to hear. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get off of this hormone roller coaster. They always do that thing during annuals where they try to talk to you and like make you feel comfortable, but really like kind of just emphasize how awkward the whole experience is. She was going through this whole process talking about, like, you know, whatever, it's nonsense, and then I feel the pull. I definitely felt it. Like, it, oof, not as bad as getting it in. Getting it in, like I said, I had no idea how much that was going to hurt, and it was like, I was totally out of commission for about a week. I was vomiting profusely. I couldn't even collect myself enough to get my clothes back on for like 2 hours after I had it put in. But this was not that. This was definitely hurt. It definitely hurt. I'm not gonna lie about that, and I have a pretty high pain tolerance. It's kind of like, you know, when you're at the dentist and it hurts and it's such a specific hurt and you're like, tooth pain is like really awful. This is a really specific kind of hurt. Like, if you've ever had any issues in the uterine area, like, you know that feeling, that's a very specific hurt. So that's the kind of hurt that this was. And she did have to pull it a couple times. My strings were pretty short. She did admit that she cuts them really short so that whoever you're with doesn't feel them. But mine were very short, and I have a very high cervix. So she did have to kind of adjust a little bit and then pull, and then it did stick. Like, it I could tell like it was having some trouble. But the third pull, I took a deep breath and it was out. And that was it. The rest of the day definitely had some soreness, and there were some stabbing pains every once in a while. Not cramping really. I wouldn't say cramping. It was like a sharp pain, which I have to assume was like probably actually just my cervix or something. I don't know. It wasn't debilitating. I functioned okay the rest of the day. I made my way home, which was like 3 hours. My boyfriend helped out a lot driving and everything, which was great, and I'm incredibly grateful that he was so supportive for this. I got home okay. I was super wiped out. I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock at night. It was definitely exhausting. Today I woke up and I had a headache, which I guess was kind of to be expected. I've always dealt with headaches, and my doctor did warn me there would probably be some hormonal withdrawal, even though I should have had the Mirena removed before. it was still administering hormones. So now I am totally hormone free. It's just me and my own body making its own hormones, and I'm probably gonna have some issues. Headaches are something I've dealt with in the past, and it doesn't help that the weather in New York has been absolutely the worst. So like miserable, gross, chilly, disgusting. So it's one of those days. So like that would definitely be a trigger for me anyway. Oh well, I can deal with a headache. I'm definitely a little sore today. I've had a little bit of cramping this morning, but it's still not like atrocious. I bled a little bit yesterday, but really I think that was probably just from the actual removal. She did warn me that for about 2 weeks I could experience some fairly heavy withdrawal bleeding. And she actually said something really interesting to me, which was that because I've been on birth control for most of my life, like my adult life, I got maybe 12 cycles and then they hit me with birth control. I don't know what my periods are like. The periods that you have on birth control are not true periods because you haven't gone through the whole cycle and then hit ovulation and then, you know, hit your luteal phase and then had your period. It's withdrawal bleeding. You're just withdrawing from the hormones and then that's what causes the bleeding. So it's not really even a true period. So my withdrawal bleed was painful and heavy. I don't know if that's what my period's gonna be like. My period was heavy and painful and debilitating when I was a child, but again, I was regulating, I was getting used to those hormones, so I don't know what they're gonna be like. So basically, she was kind of warning me, like, if you experience really heavy bleeding and you are getting this terrible withdrawal bleed, just keep in mind it is a withdrawal bleed, it's not your period. My period, she said, should come back probably within 6 weeks. That's what she said most of her patients report, and someone like me who's been doing so much stuff and eat really healthy and avoid bad things, it should be pretty easy to regulate, which made me really happy, but like, let's be real, I don't know. But again, fingers crossed. If you believe it, it happens, right? I did want to show you something. If you're at all squeamish, then maybe don't watch this. So when they removed my IUD, she showed it to me and placed it on a paper towel on the counter. And I kind of assumed that she was going to put it in like a biohazard, like garbage, but she didn't immediately and kind of left the room so I could get dressed. And I took it. Here it is. I'm gonna show it to you. I haven't cleaned it, so there is a little bit of blood on it. You will see that is, honestly, I left it there so you could see the realistic idea of how much you might bleed getting it out. I honestly thought that she was going to take this thing out and it was going to be covered in blood, or like that thick, goopy brown material that you sometimes get with breakthrough bleeding. I don't know why I thought that like my uterus was probably just full of sludge after being like that for 5 years. But so I didn't clean it off so that you can see realistically the blood you can expect when they remove this. And here it is. And I will show you. There it is. Look at that. You can see there's a little bit of blood on that little T. This is how short my strings were, which, you know, explains why I had any difficulty ever feeling them or getting them out. So this part, this thicker part, is the reservoir that holds the hormones. And you can't really see anything in it now. It is a little discolored because of the blood, but you know, I mean, I don't think you can really see if there's any fluid. I'm holding it up to light. I don't think you can see if there's any fluid in it. I assume it's fluid. I don't know. It could it could just be embedded in the plastic and maybe I shouldn't be touching this. I don't know, but I wanted to show you guys. So basically when it goes in, and this is what she showed me, when it goes in, it's in an applicator and it's folded down like that. So the whole applicator needs to be as thick as the widest part of this. So it basically looks kind of like a drinking straw, like a wide drinking straw, and they have to get that up through your cervix. And if your cervix isn't super open, and it's never really that dilated unless you're having a child. It's really difficult to get through, and that's what makes you sick and gives you so much pain. When it comes out, these fold upward much easier. You can see how flat those kind of get, so that the widest part really is still the reservoir. So it does pull through much easier, and it's much more flexible like this. So that's it. Immediately post removal, I am a-okay. I have a headache, I'm a little bit sore, but I am not bleeding currently. I will let you know what that withdrawal bleed is like. If this is all TMI for you, I apologize, but you know what? This is information that I really wanted, and I'm sure that someone out there right now can probably use this information as well. So here it is. You can have all of my gross secondhand details about having this thing removed. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much again to everyone for the support. I absolutely, seriously appreciate all of it, and I'm so sorry to hear all of the stories that you all have to share about the things that you've been through, because we should have more options than this. And that's why I think it's important to keep talking about this. So I'll keep going on this. Thank you again for watching. I will return with more when I have more. See you next time.